If you want to live the life you want, you can. You've just got to be strong enough and be able to work hard enough to get on with it.
How many of those 9 years were you waking up in the morning and thinking, I don't know if I can do this another day? Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Airbnb Nomads podcast. And on this week's Property Education Masterclass, we are joined by the amazing Rashminder Singh. Now, Rash is going to tell us his incredibly inspiring and mind-blowing story from going from post office worker just a few years ago to now building an absolute monster serviced accommodation business, managing and running and owning over 700 units across the UK, Dubai, and even moving into hotels in India. If you're in serviced accommodation and you want to learn from the best of how to do it, how to build systems, automation teams, and how to grow a truly scalable, sustainable service accommodation business, this is the episode for you. Very inspiring, so definitely listen right through till the end. Off the back of that, guys, if you get inspired from this episode, which it would be absolutely impossible not to, and if you get knowledge and if if it brings you the belief that you can grow and become your best self, please do head over, follow the show and leave us a review. It helps us more than I can possibly say. Until then, get comfortable. This is a long one, but there's so much information in it. Stick around and I hope you enjoy it. Can't wait for you to hear it. Here we go. Rash, welcome to the podcast.
Cheers, Alex.
Mate, I'm excited. It's good to have you on. I'll tell you why I wanted to have you on, because what I'm trying to do with this podcast is kind of rotate a little bit and have, some general life advice and general life experts come on and talk about their journey and inspire people, talk about their successes, adversity, stuff like that. And then I like to also mix in there some people that I class as absolute masters when it comes to property, when it comes to entrepreneurialism, when it comes to serviced accommodation specific.
Yep.
And you definitely fall into the latter of those two categories. So I've had a few people on that are like I would class as masters, and now we're here with you. So great to have you on. You're very well known in the industry, right? A lot of people know Rash. You've been around on the circuit for a little bit. You got your hands in quite a few pies.
Yeah, fingers in many pies.
Which is also pretty cool. So thanks for coming on. So this episode, what I'd like to do is do a bit of a deep dive into the mastery and the systems and the automation and the business of serviced accommodation, right? Which we believe, and what we talk about and what we teach, that is what we believe is lacking in most of the training across service accommodation. The fundamentals are there, the basics. But when it comes to mastery, when it comes to creating a real sustainable, profitable business, right, that you can step back from as well at some point, that's kind of missing. So it'd be cool to kind of jump quite deep into that with you and get some advice as well. I'm sure I could learn a lot from you.
Perfect.
So why don't we go back a little bit, Rash, and tell us where were you before you started this property journey and started taking over and dominating the serviced accommodation world?
Right. So personally myself, from a young age, I wasn't born here. I was born back in India. Came when I was 12. Came off the plane, couldn't speak a word of English or nothing, and literally dropped into Southall, which is pretty much Little India again.
Right.
So it helped. Did quite fairly well in school, got on with it, and came out, college, messed around, did my bits, and went to De Montfort in Leicester. Got there for a year. I just partied hard. I got myself a night shift job at Walker's factory and just partied hard for a year.
Walker's like the crisps?
Yeah. So
right.
The Walker's factory in
Leicester.
Leicester.
Do you get fat? Do you eat a lot of crisps?
No, I don't know. I don't put on weight, man. Look, I've looked like this since I was about 15.
Nice.
I've never put on
Good
weight,
genetics.
And I can eat. Believe me, I can eat. Did that. Did a year of partying, then went back to Brunel in Hayes. Finished my degree, blagged my way into the third year.
What was that degree in?
Computer science, but I've never worked in IT in my life. It just happened to happen at the time straight away. As soon as I graduated, we ended up buying a post office as a family.
Okay.
And that was back in 2005. And from 2005 up until 2016, it was like Groundhog Day. Every single day was the same. You literally woke up, got there in time for the paper round, had the headache of papers deliveries being late or paper boys saying, I'm not coming in today and all that every single day. And it was just rinse, repeat every single day for how many ever years, 8, 9 years, just did it. And then I got curious, got fed up of it a bit, and I started looking online, as you do. And I was looking and searching, see what's out there. Property caught my eye. There was crypto at the time. There's all these other loads of little bits and bobs flying. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go out there and test and check what's going on. And I booked myself onto this property event. And from there, it just literally snowballed. So went into the property event on a Friday morning, and literally Friday, Saturday, Sunday, by Sunday night, I had decided that's it. I'm not sitting behind. I called the post office basically sitting behind a jail, because in that day, it wasn't these open plan post offices like this desk, right?
Yeah, it's behind a screen.
It was all behind a screen and all of that stuff. Like, literally, I said to myself that I've been sitting behind a jail for 9 years. I'm done.
So let me dig into that a little bit, Rash, because I think a lot of people feel that way, right? The majority of people, I think, kind of, aren't necessarily fulfilled with their job, with their life, but they just kind of, well, this is what it is, this is the hand I've been dealt, I'm just going to kind of suck it up and deal with it. How many of those 9 years were you waking up in the morning and thinking, I don't know if I can do this another day?
To be fair, I'm the type of person, if I do something, I put my heart and soul into it, and I kind of try to enjoy it. And there were days, where you think, man, is there something different? Running a post office is not easy. You can't go to holidays. Weddings were always difficult. If you got family functions, it's always difficult. You still have to wake up in the morning and go and open the shop.
Right.
We try to get staff you can never get. Being a post office, you couldn't really get everybody and anybody to go and open up, because it involved a lot of money sitting there, right behind the post office safes and this and that. So it was always difficult. It always had to be a family member. So as a family unit, we never really went on holiday.
You could never go away together.
No. So it was either myself and my wife, or my dad had to be at the post office, or my wife had to be at the post office, and my brother somebody always had to be from the family had to be at the post office.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize about business, and specifically if you're in retail or if you have an actual physical premises. My father, he was in retail. We had paint and wallpaper shops, and the minute that he tried to go anywhere and leave that business, go on holiday, disconnect for a couple of weeks, you just come back to a frigging minefield of disasters.
Yeah.
Orders that were missed, payments that are wrong, pissed off customers, so he just decided, look, I can't get the staff, so he just never really went anywhere.
Staff, you just couldn't find staff. It was so
no one's going to care like you.
No, of course. That's it. So we did that, and then towards like the turning point was, so we've got 3 children. So my eldest one's now 15.
Right.
So he was, when I went to that event, he was 5, and then we had news that we're having twins.
You're like, shit.
Yeah. Tell you a story about the twins. So it was only until we didn't find out that they were twins until the 3rd scan.
Right.
Every time we went, the doctors, the first 2 scans, they just assumed we knew. The second doctor,
they didn't think to mention
thinking
it.
the first one had already told us. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I see.
It was the 3rd one, and he randomly in conversation just dropped, they're both fine.
Wow.
And that was the moment I was like, what do you mean
What
both
do you mean
fine?
both?
What are you talking about? Didn't you know you're having twins?
You mean both feet are fine? Both hands? What are you talking about?
So that was like, wow, okay. So, and that moment I realized, I was like, you know what? I want to spend time with the twins. I missed the youngest growing up. He was always at home with either mom or dad or wife, or I was at the shop all the time. So I missed that. So that consciously started playing with me. And like, when we're having twins, I want to spend time with them. So that was a big part that really made me, the event was just more of a nudge. I went there and I realized, okay, it doesn't have to be like this. And, they were talking about doing property, doing rents, doing this and doing service accommodation, doing all of that. And I always thought you just need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds to do property.
Yeah.
And that event really opened my eyes. And Sunday night, I said, I'm not doing this no more. Monday, I was calling up solicitors. I was calling up agents, putting the post office for sale. My dad's going mad. My mum's like, my wife's like, what are you doing? Like,
you went all in.
I went all in. I put it up for sale, sold it literally within about 3 months.
So I'm sure people are going to be listening to this and they're like screaming, ask the question. Was you kind of tired? Did you get caught up in the post office saga?
Bits and bobs. I'm still getting letters, filling out forms, sending it away. There were times where, the system error, they just deduct £5,000 from your post office money.
So you saw that
I
happen.
saw all of that. So the Horizon system, I saw the evolution of the Horizon system. Like first we used to have this manual setup, then it went on to the Horizon setup, and then Horizon obviously over time kept getting developed, and there was all these glitches and all these errors. And yeah, look, we didn't feel it like some of the people I personally know in the post office industry. They lost their livelihoods, and old people who had nothing else. So yeah, I experienced it, but not to that level. I still get letters every now and then say, sign this. There might be, some errors that we may have made. So yeah.
So you were never kind of accused of, where's this money gone and going.
Again, to be fair, I never fought it. I was always quite easygoing. To me, money comes and goes. It's the stress levels and all of that, right? So I always thought, okay, look, it's a few £1,000. Sorry, I'll work extra harder. Just let's make, if £2,000 gone there, let me go make £4,000 somewhere else, right? Let's just make it happen. Well, so I never really took that stress on.
That's quite a unique mindset though, right? And that's probably, you say that kind of very casually, but that's probably a huge part of why you're so successful today in property, because you know people who are holding on to every penny and, where's the next penny going to come from? They're the people that are holding back.
Yeah, again, I think it's more, I've always kind of, as I said, I'm an extravagant personality. I'm an extravagant person. I don't believe in hoarding. I believe if you want to go out there and make shit happen, you can make shit happen. I'm a strong believer. I mean, as you can see, I'm very religious. I've only gone into my religion. Again, we'll talk about it as and when we get to the moment. I wasn't religious all the time, but our religion, Sikhism, believes in, it centers around you, yourself. And I honestly believe this is the only thing and person and being that you can control. I can't control what you're going to say, what you're going to do. All I can do is, what am I going to think? What am I going to react? And what am I going to do? And I truly believe, you literally have everything in your own hands. If you want to make £1 million, you can. If you want to live the life you want, you can. You've just got to be strong enough and be able to work hard enough to get on with it. A lot of people always kind of, I think, want the life, but aren't willing to put the graft in.
So where does that work ethic and high levels of confidence come from? Is that something you've learned, or is that ingrained in you? Or is it religion? Is it to do with religion?
I think it's a cultural thing. One side, I mean, us Indians generally are very hardworking, but I saw my mum. So when we came from India, right, my dad hadn't come. My dad used to work in the Middle East at the time. We got here, and my mum was an overseas British national, etc., etc. So we came here, and I saw my mum do 4 jobs a day. Right, while we were at school, she'd be out of the house at 4 a.m. in the morning, didn't get home till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Wow.
I saw her graft, and I think that instilled it. And my mum was always a bit of an entrepreneur herself. Right, she always tried various things and always top up her income from doing this, or buy a bit of this from here, from this person, add a bit on and sell it over there. So all that stuff, I think it's just, as I was growing up, I saw it in my mum, and my dad was quite laid back, so I think I get best of both worlds. So my dad was always like, yeah, okay, look, money's gonna come and go. It's all right. You get some more if this one goes, right?
Yeah, don't stress about it.
Yeah, that's it. So my dad had that side of it, and my mum was like the hungry one.
Nice.
She was a grafter. So I think I got the best of both worlds. And I honestly believe it's putting it to practice. A lot of people in here can have it, but they fear, or whatever it may be, it holds them back. And I don't hold back. I just get on with shit, mate.
Get on with it.
Yeah.
So how did it? So you did the property course. You went home, put the family business on the market.
This is it.
And where did it? I mean, did you know after you left that course that you wanted to go predominantly service accommodation, or was this kind of an ever evolving process?
So that day, again, I was one of the crazy ones who actually signed up for the high level.
Yeah. all singing, all dancing,
£25,000 or whatever it was.
Triple elite, double whammy.
Yeah. So that day, the course itself, the event that I went to, it wasn't property related predominantly. It was called Wealth Mastery. So they were talking about Forex, they were talking about public speaking, they were talking about property, they were talking about online businesses, they were talking about various things. And the high level, I think it was 10,000 time at that time, right? That, what it was is it gave you 3 days in each one, a deep dive.
Yeah.
And then after I did all of those is when I decided that property was the one. And I signed up to the higher level in that after the 3 days. Again, selling the post office and then going, say, listen, I've just spent 10 grand, and then going back 2 weeks later, I've just spent another 10
Everyone's
grand.
like, Rash has lost his mind.
Yeah, my wife's like,
we're going to be homeless here.
I mean, to be fair, she's always stood by me, so I've got to give her that credit.
Amazing.
Right? She's always ups and downs. She's always stood by me. My mum and dad wanted to kill me, but that's usual. My brother's looking at me thinking, fucking, what are you doing, right? Yeah. But... Did
they believe, though? Like, they might have been annoyed and upset and confused, but did they believe? Did they think Rash knows?
I think they had their doubts. I felt they had their doubts because, again, during the post office years, it was pretty mono, isn't it? Yeah. Even though I was always good at anything I tried, it was never at this level, right? So, like in the shop, if the lights needed fixing, I'd get on the ladder and fix it, put a new light on. Car needed servicing, I'd go on YouTube or service my car, build a PC, do whatever. I just learned it all and did it. So they knew that I had the ability to do it. They just obviously thought the standard mindset, you've got a settled business, family's there, your wife's working with you, your brother's there, and you're throwing it all away. They didn't see that I wanted time with my kids. Right?
Did you have that conversation? Did you sit down and explain why you wanted to make this change?
I did. And again, they, old school mentality of especially mom and dad, they were like, you're making the wrong move.
You can bring the twins downstairs into the post office.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally what it was. It was like, you could bring them in. And I was like, no, look, that's not how it is. And honestly, there's been lots of mistakes, lots been ups and downs, but it's one of the best decisions I've made. And I got to literally spend first 4 years of the twins' life, literally like at home with them, taking them to school and back and nursery and back every day.
Wow.
I got to do it. So it kind of allowed me to do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what was the beginning of the property journey? I mean, you're obviously, you've got this entrepreneurial mindset, right? You're a grafter, you've seen your mum, you've got the benefits from your dad. Put all that together, it's looking like there's a pretty good chance of success. Yeah. So how did the property journey begin? It sounds to me like you did general overall property, not like training, right? In different kind of strategies. And then you was like, okay, where do I want to go? What kind of fits my lifestyle? What works with the amount of capital that I've got at this exact moment? And it was like serviced accommodation is the one.
Again, the course we didn't focus on service accommodation. That particular company actually didn't focus on service accommodation.
Wasn't even included.
No. It was basic touch. They touched on it. Their thing was more BMVs and flips and, below market value properties and trading those or deal sourcing, that sort of stuff.
Making chunky bits of cash.
Yeah. It was all that. But it just, again, I came out of the 3 days, I was shouting out there, telling everybody, I can do so much in property. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Within 2 months of that, I had done a lease option up in Newcastle, never seen the property, all because I was shouting, telling my mates that, look, I can move properties quick, I can stop repossessions and all of this stuff. And it's a wonderful story, though. So this friend of mine who worked as an estate agent in Washington, out of all places, hadn't seen him for decades. He's seen on my social media and he goes, listen, Rash, I've got a lady sitting right here in front of me. She needs to sell this house or do something, otherwise she's getting repossessed in 2 weeks, bro. Can you help? I'm like, okay. I straight away figured out the lease option. She had about 3 grand's worth of debt. The property's only worth 45 odd grand.
Yep.
Her mortgage was 230 odd quid, but she had gone through a divorce. Husband left her and everything. They only bought the house a couple of years prior. She literally fell apart, right? So stopped. She wasn't working, nothing. So accumulated 3 odd grand's worth of debt. at that level, if your mortgage is £232, you would have missed quite a few payments.
Right.
Banks like were taking your house. And so I was like, I paid that off, did a lease agreement for 10 years with a condition saying, listen, once they had paid about £500,000 as a deposit. I said, listen, once we pay off £500,000 off your property, I will sell it then, or I will buy it then, so you get your $5,000 back.
Yep.
And it only literally happened about 3-4 years ago. So I kind of...
You exercise the option.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even exercise it. Actually, I sold it on. And
You just sold it.
Sold it on. Didn't make crazy money. I made about £150 a month for about 3 years for doing nothing. Never saw the property, never went to it, nothing.
But you, most importantly, you helped that person to not end up getting repossessed. And
yeah. And that was like, when I did that first time around, I was like, wow, that's an eye-opener. Like, wow, this shit really works.
Yeah.
Most people think, why's somebody going to give you a house?
Yeah.
Without...
Yeah, exactly. If you love to travel like me and you understand the power in escaping the money for time exchange trap, but you just don't know how to do it, then building an Airbnb consultancy business could be exactly what you have been looking for. Right now in the UK, there is a completely untapped opportunity through helping struggling Airbnb hosts by turning around their underperforming properties and generating you huge commission payments in the process. We are going to teach you all of the tools and all of the techniques that we've learned over the last 5 years through building our very own multiple six-figure Airbnb business, arming you with everything that you need to swoop in and save the day. Minimal startup costs, zero risk, and almost unlimited potential. Sound good? Welcome to the Airbnb Consultant. Contact us through any of the channels included in the studio notes to get the conversation started. It's a common misconception, right, that you need hundreds of thousands of pounds to get into property. Once you're in it and you're doing it, you know that that's not really the case. There's so many different ways of doing it. You just need to get educated. But like you said, which is so true, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people go to the courses every day. Very few actually walk out and take action. The majority of people just go back to the job, and
it's that comfort zone, and it's again, I just feel it's the hungriness. Not everybody's hungry enough to go out there and do it. It's if you really wanted something so bad, just go and get it, right? No, who's stopping you? Only you are stopping you, right? So everybody's got the same knowledge. Like when I did the high level course, etc., there was like 20-30 other people. No disrespect to them, but I still speak to some of them on social media, meet them in, every now and then, and they are where they were 10 years ago.
Right.
8 years ago, should I say, right? 2016. They are still where they were. I've been like this and gone like this, hit the floor, smashed my face and got back up. And, I've done all that in the same time. But we're building, and I'd say still building, such a strong business and a unique setup. And it all comes down to applying that knowledge.
And what would you say to people that say, because I think a lot of people's problem is time, right? And I understand it. I don't have the family, it was a decision, the conscious decision that I made. I chose a different way. I have time, right? Because I don't have all those commitments. But I understand that for someone with 2-3 kids, the house that needs cleaning, the food that needs cooking, the kids that need taken to school, there's a lot of people that would say, I'd love to do that, but I don't have there's no time left in my day. What would you say to those people? Look,
mate, everybody has the same 24 hours in the day. I'm 46, yet I am at my desk probably 12 to 14 hours every day. I'm up at 4-5 o'clock latest. I don't leave the office till 6-7 o'clock. I'm there unless I'm out and about doing viewings. I chose to wake up earlier.
Right.
You can extend your day. Everybody, you don't still like if you wanted to do something so bad enough, extend your day, right? It doesn't require hours and days. There are strategies which will allow you to just get going, get started, get a bit of momentum. And what I feel like I speak to a lot of people is, Raj, how do you do it, right? It's clarity and the wantness. If your job pays you £3,000, in today's day and age, to get to £3,000 in property is nothing, right? It's nothing. It's knowing how to do it and then actually going out and doing it. And and believing you can do it.
And
right?
believing you can do it, I think, is the number one thing, which again, a lot of people don't, and I think it's got a lot to do with, the social media and comparing yourself to everybody, and, everybody's killing it and I don't know where to start. Well, it's just too difficult. I won't do anything. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's, part of the problem today. So, okay. So when did the actual serviced accommodation, because I want to get quite deep
Let's
into
get
that.
into service.
So tell me how that, because I know you've got so much stuff going on and we can talk about that, but let's talk about service accommodation first.
Yeah.
So how did that journey begin? You didn't do any specific training at that event.
No.
So have you done further training, or
Again,
did you kind of...
when you're in property yourself, when you get into property, networking is the biggest thing. So at that time, even though I didn't do my training with Progressive, I was here literally every other weekend. At that time, they did events every weekend,
Right.
here or London. I was at every event. I used to be, so there was me and Najinder. So Najinder was known as Social Singh, right? Got a long beard, Najinder Mahal, right? If you go on the socials, you see him. And I was called Swag Singh because I always wore my three-piece suit, a matching turban and a matching tie.
Nice.
So
nice
we were
brand.
known in the property community as Swag Singh, and even Rob used to say, "Look, you're looking sharp again," right? That's when Rob spoke a lot on stage.
Okay.
I'm talking 2016, 2017, 18, when Rob was on stage quite often. And so I was in and out of events all the time. And I realized that service accommodation it kind of fell into my laps really, because a friend of mine used to work in Foxtons.
Yeah, I know Foxtons.
Yeah. And he was a director. And he said, "Rash, you're in property, blah, blah. I got a block in Hounslow High Street. It looks lovely, futuristic apartments. I mean, they had beds, like you press a button, bed went up,
Really?
and then a desk came out and all sorts, right? They were just studios, but it was like, wow, okay. And I took 8 of those off him on a rent-to-rent.
Mm-hmm.
And we done very well with them. At that time, we had the concierge checking people in. We didn't do key boxes, no systems or nothing. This was just all... I'm talking like just getting on with it. So I had the concierge checking people in. I had the cleaner who cleaned the building doing my cleans.
Wow.
And if she couldn't do it, I was picking up our house cleaner from Hayes, picking her up, taking her there in between post office hours while we were selling it, taking her there, cleaning it, dropping her back. It was just making it happen. But at that time, there wasn't so many people doing it. It wasn't saturated. It wasn't like every man and his dog was doing SA at the time, right? And mate, we were getting 200, 300, 400 pound a night on weekends. It was dead in the high street. And because there wasn't so many properties in the market,
rates were higher.
I was killing it, man.
But immediately that I can tell with you, and I'm sure you know this anyway, but I'll reflect it back to you. I can already tell the way that you're talking and the way that your energy, you love this shit.
Yeah. Look,
you absolutely love it.
I jump out of bed every day for it. I honestly...
How can you not do well when you love it like that?
This is it. That line that people everywhere, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day. I'm a living, breathing example of that. Because honestly, man, I'm 46. Like, if you've seen my socials, right? Look how busy my days are. Even on my days off, I'm like cycling with the kids, or I'm going doing viewings, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like... But I still jump out of bed every day. I jump out. I'm on it like this. This is the level of energy. Like, you can meet me at 6 a.m. or you can meet me at 8 p.m. People are like, don't you get tired? I just have passion. I have hunger. I love it.
That's a really, really important point, because it's just, if you want to get up and go to work, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, that is huge, and it's rare, right? Because the majority of people don't feel like that. So you took on the studios in Hounslow. You're making good money. You got the concierge doing the check-ins.
It was running smooth.
You got the cleaner doing the business.
Then from that Foxtons, another guy saw what we were doing. He was in Canary Wharf. And he was like, "Rash, got some buildings for you, got some properties for you, apartments for you." At that time, the management companies and all that weren't an issue. Took a 2-3 on there.
What's the timeline here? When are we talking?
So this is 2017 now.
Okay. So not that long ago.
No. So 2017. So running those, doing really well. And then networking, I got sucked into crypto. And realized, you know what?
Shiny penny syndrome.
Shiny penny syndrome, right? Still doing the SA, blah, blah, blah. And saw the crypto and I thought I was going to become a millionaire in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So spunked about 45 grand on it.
Oof.
A lot of money from the post office, which was put aside for the property. But, amateur. I think it's amateur, and I don't know if it's a good trait or a bad trait, but it's just go and try it. Let's do it. It's that. So I went gung-ho in it, right? And buying this coin, buying that coin.
But also because you knew, it's like, well, there was probably part of you was thinking, I could put in 45 grand, I could make millions, or if I lose it, I can make it all back again.
Yeah, that's what it was. And literally I did lose it all. So 2017, we're doing great. We're managing properties. Straight away, literally, like, I didn't take every property. I took on the Hounslow ones, and then 4 or 5 of them I sourced on. I started running for people. Kind of started to systemize. In my head, the system was, as long as somebody can clean it for me without me being there, as long as we can make the check-ins happen, I can run a property anyway. So I was at Canary Wharf. Again, I had the concierge once a week, a bottle drop, a bit of money in the bag for him. Right? It was all hunky-dory. And then crypto happened. And I thought, okay. So literally my whole attention...
Another family meeting.
Right, yeah. Well, no, they didn't even know I was doing...
They didn't know.
Right, all that money was going into it. So then literally what happened was the attention went from property for about a year and a half to crypto. And literally, mate, I put my blood and sweat, like I do, right? I went all in. I was out there, like, there was a network marketing company I started working with. I was running events every week. I was standing in, like, monthly...
For crypto?
Yeah. So
right, so you went deep.
I went deep, right? So we were doing weekly events where there was about 20, 30 people in a room every week, maybe 1 or twice a week. Doing monthly events, they could be anywhere 600, 700 people. If you go back to my socials, you'll see, like, I'm standing there speaking in front of thousands of people on days.
Wow.
Right? So went all in, and it was a bubble, right? I didn't go into it properly. I did amateur, right? So I didn't understand it fully. I didn't buy a Bitcoin, which I wish I had done. I bought all these smaller coins for pennies and pounds and thought, yeah, once they go to 10, 20, they all collapsed. Nothing in my bank, living in overdraft, arguments with my parents, my wife, drinking, literally hit the floor.
So bad. Bad time.
That bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Was that like an immediate pop, or did you see it? Was it like shit? The wheels are coming off.
It took me time to realize. I lived in for about 9 months. I'd say I lived in this false hope or want, still running the events, even though I knew there was nothing kind of coming in. Just living in this false world.
Knowing it was
knowing it's not happening anyway, right? The money's gone, but yeah, it was maybe you could say it was the buzz of running these events and being out there and hustling,
being in the spotlight.
Yeah, it just kept me going, right? And then eventually it was like, fuck this. Had major arguments happening at home, family issues.
So was your family maintaining the property business? While you
No. The property business just got... So the properties, I told my mate, here, listen, you have...
So you shut it all down?
Not shut it down. My friend at Foxton's. Right, he took it on and he took the clients and everything. He was running it. Same thing with the ones in Canary Wharf. I just didn't even care about it. I was gonna make £1 million, right, in about 3 months.
Yeah.
And I literally took my eye off the ball, hit the floor, ended up being offered another post office by a friend of mine. Again, I always had this ability to paid no money for it, and I ended up getting a post office. Paid no money for it, kind of a lease option kind of thing, right? Ran that for about 6 months and realized, nah, this ain't me. And this was literally just, then COVID happened.
I can't believe knowing you for this short time that you spent any time sitting behind a post office desk.
Right.
I can't imagine how at all.
Well, I did it for 9 years, right?
Wow. You must have been like bouncing off the walls. They have to tie you to the chair, or?
Yeah. Back and forth. Yeah. The shop counter at the time, we had the shop counters and the post office counters. Back and forth. We had the pub next door. I'd nip out for a pint during the day, all sorts, right? So, yeah, but I was always like this.
Yeah.
All the customers and everybody, like, I've seen kids go from here to there, then have kids, all sorts. I was there for so long.
Generations.
I still speak to some of them. But yeah, I can't believe how I sat behind a post office counter for so many years being the way I am.
Yeah.
I did do it, but yeah, it's
Wow.
one of those. So the post office, the property business kind of just got brushed to one side. And then COVID happened. COVID was hard. But at that time, the friend that was at Foxton's had started his own agency. So I went on hustle mode again. While we weren't allowed to go out of the house and everything, I was out there doing viewings. I was out there knocking doors on landlords because all the tenants, all the agencies were shut, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking online, checking properties for rent. Right? I'm knocking on doors.
Everyone's home.
Yeah, everyone's home. I'm signing up properties to rent. And then service accommodation creeped back in. And from me just knocking on doors, I bumped into a guy who's like, I've got 2 properties. I need someone to manage them. I was, okay, I can manage them. I didn't think about it. I just said yes. Right. And I just started speaking to him. I sourced, but like that same client now has 2 blocks, 6 houses. So he has about 13 properties with us now. Same client. But we've helped him grow, right? And the biggest turning point was aligning with Sam, my business partner now. So we went college together. Lost touch for years, 21 years. We met again. We aligned. He saw I was doing SA. He, at that time, had got Ferndale property to about 30 properties. Systemized it a little, well, quite a bit actually. They had systemized. So me and him aligning, my fire, his systemization and calmness and the ability to kind of ground me. Coupling that has then, we quadrupled. So they didn't do management at the time. I brought the idea of management in, and then us two coming together.
So was your business partner, Ferndale was also service accommodation?
Yeah, so Ferndale was service accommodation. That's where Ferndale's fire really started, because they were just running it as operators for themselves.
Right.
They didn't think about management. They didn't consider management. I came along and said, listen, I've got this client, got 2 properties. We want to grow the fuck out of this. He wants to get more. So there was sourcing going on. They were setting them up and we're systemizing them.
Let me ask you something, because you say you are a great example of, if you can strip away all of this worry, right, and all of this anxiety and all of this low self-confidence around, I don't know if I can do it, and I don't really want to go out and ask for this or knock on the door and have the conversation. You are an example of someone who doesn't have any of that, right? You're just like, I know I can do this. I'm super confident. I'm going to make shit happen. And you go out there and do it.
That's it.
Right? And most people, for them, that's so unthinkable to just go out there and just start banging on doors and just saying yes to anything. And I'm going to make it work. In COVID as well.
In COVID, yeah.
So do you think if you can remove those barriers and just say, I'm just going to go out there and I'm just going to do this. And I'm not going to give a shit what people think. I'm not going to worry about how I come across. I'm not going to worry about making mistakes within reason, right? Do you think that if you can manage that kind of super kind of, expedites your route to some kind of success, or at least action?
100%. I think if people can just step away from that, what if that person thinks, in most cases it's family. For many years, my own brother he didn't believe that we were doing so well in property. Now he works with us.
But what would you say? Because, some of our mentees that we work with, they're all fantastic, amazing people. But the more people that we meet and the more people that we work with, and it's not just our mentees, it's almost everybody, seems to have this massive hang up about what people are going to think of them, right? So when it comes to, guys, you've got to get yourself out on social media. And when it comes to just putting a simple video, right, of saying just what they do, who they are, what they're looking to do, where they're from, basics, it's a huge thing, right? Yeah. And for most people, that is a huge thing. Like preparing for days, like in order to record this video, and then doing it 1,000 times and overthinking it and talking themselves in the mirror. And it's like,
just do it.
Just do it.
Just
do it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, whatever you put out, it's never going to be perfect. It's going to be, an ever evolving thing. but you'll only ever get good feedback. You'll only ever get people saying, wow, that's amazing. I never knew you did that. Can we talk? Can we connect? I'm really inspired. And the people that do come back with any kind of silly comments, you don't need to be working or doing business with them. You don't need them in your life. So when you break it down like that, you think, what am I worried about?
Honestly, as I said, it's here, isn't it? If you can master this, that look, I can only control this and here. I can't control what you're going to think, what you're going to say. I can't do it. No matter how hard, I cannot make you say or do what I want. You will only do it if you want to do it. So the moment you master that, then what happens out here, I don't really care. I will do what I want. I will do what is good for me. I don't care what you think. I don't care what anybody else thinks. If it works for me and I feel it's great and I'm not ripping people off and doing it ethically, I'm all in.
Yeah, and that you've done your best, whatever that is.
As long as you give it, you give it your 100%. If you go half-hearted, as they say, you get out what you put in. If you just go, okay, let me, if you want to start running, if you say, I'm going to do a 5-minute run and that's it, and then you just stop at 5 minutes and never increase, you're never going to be a great runner, right? It's all about putting that time, effort in, and then just believing. Like a lot of people just don't believe in themselves.
Yeah, I know so many people that say, I wish I could do this, and look at that person, they're so clever, they do that. And it's like, you could do that.
Anybody, I believe any single person on this planet with the right knowledge and self-belief can do it. And in today's industry, in today's world that we're living in, I mean, you've got everything at your fingertips. It's not like you have to go out there, get a PhD. It's not like if I wanted to learn any skill, if I wanted to learn video editing, I could learn it. If I wanted to learn programming, you could learn it.
Is there anything you think you can't do?
No. Look, if I wanted to do something, I would do it.
Is there anything that you look at, like video editing? If somebody's not computer literate, they might look at it and go, "That's immediately. There's no way. Too complicated. No chance."
In my head, I think, look, there's got to be an app for it. There's got to be a video that I can copy. In today's day and age, if you can copy paste, right? Not literally copy paste on a screen, but if you can copy paste something that somebody else has done, you can do it. It's simple as that.
It's true. Everything has changed so much, and I'm not against, going to university and all that kind of stuff. I do think that what people learn at school now is massively archaic compared to what you need to know in the real world.
Of course.
But it's true. Like, you can literally not, be careful what I say here. You should go to school.
Yeah.
But if you decide to finish up school and say, you know what, I'm done with education, I'm going to go out and I'm going to teach myself now how to market social media or, computers or AI, and all that stuff, you can make friggin' millions.
Yeah.
Compared to someone who goes to school for 20 years to PhDs and doctorates and all that kind of stuff. And it's swinging the other way.
It's everybody to their own, right? That was the old way, right? For decades, that's how it worked. If you studied hard, you got the better jobs. Now, it's the other way around. If you can do shit and if you can be out there, visible to people.
Be out there.
Right? We've got kids making millionaires doing YouTube videos, doing stupidest things.
Yeah.
Right? So...
And you can sit there and watch those and go, look at these idiots making 10 million a year, whatever, jumping off of balconies, whatever they do, But you know what? It. They're doing it.
They're doing it.
They're the
making
ones
the
who
money,
are laughing.
Right? You've got kids playing games and you've got kids reviewing toys.
Yeah. I was having this conversation on a recent podcast I just did, and I did a podcast coming out pretty soon about a guy who literally has been traveling the world with his family, built this remote lifestyle, incredible, great story. But what we was talking about was how now, he basically, he wanted to create this life, right? Wanted to go and travel the world, wanted to do it with his family. Started documenting that, putting it online consistently every day, started generating a following. All of a sudden he's getting calls from hotels. Can you come and stay with us? Can you promote this product? Can you show them using the shampoo? Whatever it is, right? So he's got a big enough following now where he's really monetizing his social media. And we started talking about how now there's people out there who are like, they're a lorry driver, normal job. They stick a camera in the friggin' in the cab, right? And they're there. Here I am driving my lorry wherever I'm going. Here's my cab where I sleep. This is the little microwave that I cook my hot pockets in.
A day in the life of a truck driver.
Yeah, and they got friggin' 3 million followers.
Yeah.
And they're making crazy money as a lorry driver through their social media.
That's it. I mean, that's what it is. It's not like you can't have audience, right? I remember, so when I was doing the crypto stuff and doing the public speaking, every morning I did a video. Every single morning. I think it was about 6 months, never missed a day. Every morning I did a Facebook Live. And it was always, mate, you can call this cheat mode. Right? The morning when I woke up while I'm getting ready, I'd listen to a podcast and I'd repeat the same shit in my drive to wherever I'm going.
Nice.
I had a following.
Yeah.
And when I stopped doing it, when I hit the floor, people were DMing me, bro, where's your videos?
We're waiting for you.
We're waiting for the video. People were waiting for my morning video.
Yeah.
And that's just me, just random dude with a bright turban and a bright tie. I had it's like that's what they called
That
me.
was
right?
your brand.
Right, that was the brand. And people were like literally waiting for me. And that's
Really,
within 6 months.
Really good
right?
insight there.
And again, it's I honestly believe it's the know-how and the want. So I'll give you an example. This was, I think it was about 4 months into doing all these property courses and public speakings. I was at one of these events and this girl comes up to me. She goes, Rash, like, you're smashing it. I want to start my own business, blah, blah, blah. I said, what is it you want to do? She's like, look, I'm an art student and I can create this portfolio thing which combines like 4 or 5 items that you normally have to carry, or you leave one at the uni or blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, then what's stopping you? She goes, I got no money. I don't know how to start. I said, okay, what you do, this was all at the event, right? So I was at one of the events and this is in the morning break. I said, look, what you do is just send a message to all your friends. Say, if I created this, would you guys buy it? Send a message. Second break, she come running to me. She goes, you know what? I've had 9 people say to me they will buy it. I said, okay. Now tell them, how much will this thing cost you to make? She's like, $15. I said, okay. Tell them you're going to pre-order. It'll be ready in a month. I said, take pre-orders, send them a PayPal link and do a special offer at 20 quid. You make £5 on it. And sent that. 3 people bought it. I said, there's your money right now to create 3-4 of those units.
Yeah.
Go and do it.
Just funded your project.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she got an online shop, everything. She's making it.
Amazing.
That was within literally came to my head in minutes.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that.
Anybody can do it. And like you said, with today's technology and all the different apps
you don't
and
need
groups.
look, again, you don't need to own stock or anything. Look at Airbnb. They don't own a property.
No.
Look at Uber. They don't own a taxi. Look at Amazon. They don't own any inventory. I was thinking about it the other day. So I bought this wardrobe for my room. And I was searching. I had seen it for about £1,100 on a website. I liked it.
For a wardrobe?
Yeah.
What kind of frigging wardrobes you buying?
Lights and mirrors, sliding doors, and all sorts, right? But kept searching and I found it on Groupon for £400. Straight away I thought, why can't I just create a website and say I can sell this same thing with one of our maintenance guys, go and build it and sell it for £800. Double my money without owning stock. Place the orders, people place the orders. I order it from Groupon to the house, send one of my guys to build it. I made 400 quid.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
It literally is. Go on Amazon, look at the stuff that's got 56% off. Stick the same stuff on eBay with another 20% on top for you. Once the order comes in, place the order to get it delivered directly to them.
But I think a lot of people might see that opportunity, but hardly anyone will actually do it. I'll always remember that something Peter Jones said on Dragon's Den. He said, the only thing, well, maybe it was in a documentary, the only thing that makes me different from everybody else is that when I have an idea, I do it. Yeah. Whereas everybody else has the idea and then moves on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're right. It literally
is that easy.
It is that
Honestly,
easy.
But
It is, but it is when you've got other attributes that you have, right?
I guess.
Okay, so you're working now with Ferndale. You're
it.
in the service accommodation. You've forgotten you've been crushed by crypto.
And
That's
it.
done.
Got away from that.
45 grand in the hole. You're into the business now with Ferndale, and he's bringing the systems. You got the fire.
And we are now sitting at 700 properties across the country, Dubai, hotels in India. Obviously, I think what's accelerated it as well is we always offer opportunity to others.
Mm-hmm.
So within the UK, if we get people serious enough, we don't just say you're going to work for us. We bring them on our level, kind of creating partnership, right? Say, look, we've got 8 businesses. We created a special way of how we pay each other, how we pay ourselves. We don't have salaries and stuff. We get a bit from every company. It's 12 different companies, £500 from that one, £300 from that one, £800 from that one. And it's all coming in every month. As long as we build that business and put a buffer there of £10,000, £20,000, and you just keep building it. So that's how we started with the management. From that, we said, okay, we're paying cleaning companies. Why don't we bring that inside? So then we started 360 cleaning. Then we're like, okay, we got handyman. We're like struggling to find decent handyman. Why don't we employ 4 or 5 guys on an hourly rate, put them in vans, and the service accommodation business itself pays their salaries and gives us profit. Then we like setting up wise, we're paying all these furniture companies, Fusion and all these guys. Why not do it ourselves? Got a Luton van, got a couple of guys that can drive a Luton, chuck them in a van, they go and do it. Right? We've just literally snowballed. It's continuously growing, yet we haven't advertised.
Amazing.
Everything is referral. That people work with us, they see the fire, they see the honesty. Honestly, I believe one of the things that does and has excelled us is we're very honest and straight to the point. We don't sugarcoat shit. Like this morning, I spoke to somebody. He's got a sourcer who's got him on fire. 1-bedroom apartment, Birmingham, city centre, blah, blah, blah. I said, don't take it. He was like, what? I've spoken to 3 management companies. He wanted to give it to us for management. He was going to take it on a source, from a saucer and give it to us for management. I could have just taken it and added it to the number, right? And if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, I've lost nothing. I said, bro, don't take it. You will not make money there. It's a 1-bedroom. There's hundreds of 1-bedrooms in Birmingham, city centre. You're not going to make the money. Don't do it. And he's not going to do it. But he's like, you're the first management company who's honestly and openly said that this is not a good deal.
Yeah, that's really good to hear, and we talk a lot about that, in our business. We believe that there's a lot of people now being kind of led off a cliff, with the big dreams and the big case studies and the big promises, financial freedom and this and that. And they're going out and they're just loading up on rent to rents, and the shiny key pictures on the socials look great. But in the reality of it, they're not filling their properties. They're scaling too quick. They don't know about business. They don't know how to market. They don't know systems.
Yep.
And they've signed that contract and they're
locked
locked
in. Yeah, they're locked in.
10, 15,000 into a bigger house. How long is it going to be before you actually get genuine profit back out of that deal?
Again, it is. It's one, lack of systems and processes and the knowledge, right? It might sound like I'm selling ourselves, but we as a management company, I see so many people out there, they don't even get the basics right? They set up a 3-bedroom house that's going to sleep 9 people.
Yeah, with one small bathroom.
1 small bathroom and a 2-seater sofa. Where they going to all sit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where they going to sit? Basic thing.
Well, they eat their dinner in the bedroom.
All right? It's like, where are they going to sit? I said that to somebody. I was like, you're setting this up and you're saying you only want a 2.5 sofa bed. What about the rest of the 6 people? If you are ever going to get 9 people, I mean, it's very rare now, but if you are going to get the 9 people, where are they going to all sit when they're sitting down watching TV? It's like, a penny dropped.
Yeah.
You need tub chairs. So there you go. Look, you put 2 tub chairs here, put 1 each in the bedroom. Okay, now we can sit 7. Basic things like that.
There's a lot of contractors, especially since COVID, and these are big burly guys. If you're in the contractor market, a lot of those guys don't want to be sleeping 6 inches apart.
No.
They want their own rooms.
Yeah.
These are big guys, so, it's something to consider. So, yeah, what I love about your story, Rash, is that, you've monetized every single step of the process, right? Where again, most people in the service accommodation world, they're just doing straight rent to rent, building up a huge ball of fire, in my opinion, with hundreds of, rent to rents. Anything could change, if we have another COVID or, anything could happen, rising rents, landlords wanting their properties back or putting up rents, So, we're definitely more in favor of the management model, but so what have you got? You've got obviously the management company, you've got 700 properties.
So as I said, we're a solutions company, right? Our system that we've built using various apps, coders coding these apps together, creating automation, integration between the apps and the platforms. So when a booking comes in, about 100 different things happen. Various people get various tasks allocated to them in Asana. Various people get notifications in various channels, whoever needs to see it. 0 invoices get created for cleaning. All this just happens from booking landing in Turkey.
Right.
It's custom built. And that allows us to put a property, as long as I can get somebody on the ground to do the handyman work and cleaning, I can plug in a property into a system anywhere in the world. And a lot of people don't know this, but we do our back office service. A lot of people don't even know that we run the back end of a lot of big operators in this country. I obviously can't name names, but they're running 60, 70, 80 units in Newcastle, Manchester, Liverpool. Mm-hmm. As soon as the bookings come in, everything that happens after that, guest checks, guest communication, checking IDs, taking payments, all that shitty administration work, we do it in the background.
Right.
Yet the world thinks it's their business. It is. They're doing the front end, right? They're doing the advertising. They're getting the booking in. Everything after that, the shitty stuff, guest calling up, I can't log into the Wi-Fi. We've got 24-hour teams. So Philippines has 40 people. They work for us. Philippines Corporation, we pay their health care and all of that, pensions and all that stuff. And they work for us. They're not VAs. They work for 360 Philippines Corporation. And 24 hours a day, they're online. There's shift rotors. India does the administrations. There's about 20 people there. And between the two different time zones and UK, between these 3 countries, there is someone online, multiple people online, that will take a WhatsApp call, that will take a landline call, that will take an email. A guest could ring up, email, call anytime, and they will get an answer. They will get a person to talk to.
Right.
None of this online, just talking to chatbots and all that. No, you will get a person who will pick up the phone. And we, as owners, believe the buck stops with us. I've had a phone call in the middle of the night and dealt with stuff because it needs to be dealt with there and then. A lot of operators out there, a lot of management companies, they don't want to know. I've had calls at midnight. I've had calls at 3 a.m. and gone out because somebody's locked themselves out. They've got a child with them. I've gone there, gone pick up the keys from storage, go and let them in.
Yes, it's so true that, the buck always stops. You can have all the teams that you want and, you're doing that. But at the end of the day, still, if something goes wrong or if someone needs to get there now, you need to be able to, within reason, you need to be able to get there.
It's following on from your post you put up the other day, right? Running a property within an hour, half an hour of your radius. So we never take on properties anywhere where we personally don't know somebody that I can call and say, brother, I need you to get in your car right now. I don't care what time it is. I need to get in your car and go and sort this out.
Amazing.
Dubai's like that. India's like that. Here, anywhere we're working, any country, any county,
you've got a trusted person on the ground that you can call.
Some that we know personally.
24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way that you can do that.
Yeah, otherwise you can't do it. And I honestly believe if the buck, honestly, like, why have we built such a big business in such a short space of time without advertising? Is that attitude. It's that people see that. It's transparent. We're not here to rip people off. I'm here to build a long-term business. And our business ethos is, if I make you money and build you a business, my business is naturally going to make money.
Yeah, true.
And there's no other ways about it. We don't tie people into contracts. Probably the only management company that doesn't have a contract.
Because you're so confident in what you do.
Ultimately, if I don't work for you and make it work, who am I to try to force you to stay? Who am I to say you have to give me 9 months of fees before you exit? Who am I to do that?
Yeah, you're right. And it's similar to, I've got some buy-to-let properties and the agent always says, well, do you want to do another year contract? I do a 12-month contract. And then after that, I always go month to month. Yeah. Because I think if I tie them into another 12 months, if on month 2, they don't want to be in that property anymore, what am I going to do? Yeah. They're going to stop paying rent, they're going to cause damage, or they're going to be hard work. So you can go.
That's it.
Just
and
go.
We are very ethical. We're probably one of the only management companies that work on ethics. I've covered bookings where it's a mistake, system mistake, blah, blah, £2,000. I've covered it. Because I know that person needs to pay the rent that day, that month. I've covered it. I've taken on properties from management clients who say, look, our circumstances are changed. Right, Rash, if I don't give this property up, I'm fucked. I've taken that property on. I bought their company. Exit. Give them an exit. If ultimately the business is not working for you and you need out, the buck stops with me. I will say, give it to me. I'll take it. I will take the liability. I've done it 3 times. I've had to do it 3 times purely because they're close friends. Their circumstances changed. Not because the property wasn't working. Properties are still working.
So what's the? I mean, you've done so much in a short period of time. How long is this since you started?
So this is 2019.
2019. So 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here? What's the? Do you have a big grand plan? Do you have a big vision?
So look, the plan is to build this up for the kids. If they want to work in this business, great. If not, they've got an exit strategy. Right? That's the plan. For me, I don't think I'll ever stop. I just don't see myself sitting there, retiring or anything like this. I think I will go until I die. I'll probably be still trying to make phone call while I'm on my bloody deathbed, right? Trying to do a deal. I don't see myself stopping.
Rash, die in peace. Put the phone down. One more deal.
We're always evolving. So, right, this system that we've created, I'm not sure if I should say, but I'm going to say anyway, but we're building something that's going to blow up all PMS systems out of the water.
But based on what I've heard over the last hour, I completely believe that.
And it's gonna literally allow operators. It's gonna be a one place for letting agents, SA operators, property managers, hotel managers, because we've got experience in all of them, right? One place. You'll be able to do your accounting on one screen. You'll be able to do your bookings on one screen. You'll be able to do all your revenues on one screen. Everything.
So is this like a channel manager? Of sorts? Or?
You can't call it a channel manager. We are going to call it a PMS system.
Complete.
Yeah. And we probably the only ones that are not going to just send you to videos if you want to learn how to do it. We're going to have coaching to go with it.
Cool. Watch this space.
Watch this space. It's in alpha stage at the moment still. So we've got the system, we've got the data, we've got everything. So it's kind of being built.
You're someone who, very much, you remind me of like a Richard Branson guy, right? Because I'm pretty sure you don't know how to code, or you don't know how to build apps, or you don't know how to do pretty much any of the businesses but you've got the vision and you're like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I need that. I need him there. I need that person over there. And you build this and you put that and you make it happen. Surround yourself by the people that can do it. You don't need to be able to do it all.
No, I mean, I can. If I wanted to, I could go out there and learn coding, right? Yeah. I can. It's not a problem. But I just feel you don't need to, right? It's just going to slow down things, isn't it? If you can, it's like anything I believe in life is like a puzzle. As long as you can put the pieces together and it benefits everybody, there's no way it's not going to work, right? So this system we're creating, we're now literally going to, there's AI, but we're looking at augmented intelligence, which is AI with humans. Because AI is always AI, right? There's no human interaction. But our system is going to be AI plus human. And yeah, I'm excited for that, right?
I'm excited too.
And so that's That's a little plug. They probably won't appreciate me telling everybody, but it's one of those things. Developments, again, we never, up until last year, we never really looked into developments. But again, we've got a few developments on the go. Nothing large. We're never going to go large with them.
What's your take on, a lot of people say, just do the one thing. Do the one thing, do it really, really well, become the best in your field at it, and stick with that. And other people say, diversify different things. What's your feeling on that? You've built this massive service accommodation business. Would you now start looking at going into bigger developments and other strategies? And
again, we have got multiple strategies going on, but us as a business, us as people, we believe as long as this works and adding something else, it must bolt on to this.
So it must complement. You're never going to do a complete 180.
No, it's always going to be property related.
Right.
Everything will always be property related. And it must bolt on, or the ability of this to bolt on to that.
So it always needs to grow the existing core.
Yes.
And just bolt onto it and make it bigger and bigger.
That's it.
And what about global? I mean, I know you're UK, Dubai, India. Is there an appetite to go into other countries or?
Yeah, why not? Our system allows us to do it. So the way, again, with everything, in Dubai at the moment, we're not doing any management or anything. We're taking a couple of units ourselves. Some of them are for landlords, and these are people we know out there. So we've got somebody that we've known since school days. He's out there. He's lived there for about 15 odd years. He's running it, right? So until we master it there, we're not going to go elsewhere.
So one of your requirements in order to go out into these other places, you've got to have, trusted. Like you were saying, that person on the ground.
Trusted. Somebody that's me, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that I can call, bro, this needs sorting. Responsibility. Ultimately, we're playing with people's money. We're playing with people's life. I have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
We have to take responsibility for that, and we have to be liable for it. Everything's not perfect. It might sound like, oh wow, these guys are smashing this all. There's mistakes. It happens, but we will cover mistakes.
And where did you learn that? I mean, to build a business of that scale, there's a lot to it. A lot of moving parts. Where did you learn the business side of running something like that?
Was
that the post office? Was there?
Running a post office is as I said, it's Groundhog Day. It's not business. I just think the network, the people I believe, and I'm always learning, obviously. Like I always, every day, I'm reading or I'm listening to a podcast or I'm just constantly learning. We were talking about education earlier, right? Normal education stops at university unless you're going to do further education. But I believe education never stops. My mind needs feeding all the time. If I stop learning, I believe I'll be long. It just
like the Duracell bunny.
Yeah. I'm like, I just need to be feeding myself. I need to be learning all the time. But I think with business, in today's day and age, the technology and what we've got, you don't necessarily need to know it all yourself, right? I could align with somebody who builds apps and he starts building PMS apps for us. I could align with somebody who, I don't know, man, who builds JCBs. Could align with us and they're doing JCBs at all developments that we link with. It doesn't necessarily have to be that I need to know and I need to be in that business. You partner up with people who are experts in there and who, as long as there's a mutual benefit, why won't it work?
Yeah, it's true. And you can't be expected to have all these skills. If you want to grow, if you want to build, if you want to succeed, right? You're never going to have all the skills. So it's an art really in itself to recognize that and go out and say, okay, I know I want to do this. I don't know how to do that. So I need to find someone who's got the skills. Maybe you've got the vision and the drive, and then bring those things together. And then really anyone can make shit happen. Yeah. It's just the mindset of thinking, well, I'd love to do that, but I don't have the skills, so I can't do it. Or I'd love to do that, I don't have the skills, so I'm going to go out and find someone. that I can JV with and work with on it.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. Like, again, it's I've experienced in pretty much all my life. If I put my mind to something, it happens. And it's, whether it's the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, right? Every single time I've said we want to do something, things just align. People turn up, or somebody turns up with an idea, or somebody says, I've got this, and it just happens. And I think it all comes down to you wanting to do it so badly and kind of going out there, you know.
Is it the want, or is it the having the want, or is it that the fear stops you?
It's a bit of both, isn't it? I think people just don't want it bad enough. If you want it bad enough, then you will go out and do it, right? Why is, you know, you see on social media all these videos, why is this one person who's got one arm, yet he can carry 20 bricks on his head? Then you've got normal people who've got every able part in the body. You ask them to lift 20 bricks and they can't do it.
Yeah, because you can't, you know, this is what I'm finding. You can't grow unless you're willing to put yourself out there and get and put yourself into really uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Right? Which may not be uncomfortable for you. Like, for example, you said, oh, you know, I just started this networking thing and I'm talking in front of thousands of people, right? That obviously didn't faze you.
Yeah.
But for most people, in order to grow maybe in property, a good way to do that is to be on a stage, right? Yeah. To lift your profile, to lift your brand, to build authority. But for a lot of people, the idea of doing that is so terrifying.
It's that dreaded comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah. It's easy to just say,
yeah, I'm okay.
I'm okay, because it's fucking scary.
Yeah, I remember, look, when I first started networking, we used to go into shopping centers, right? We'd just decide a random subject and we had to go up to strangers and start talking to them about this subject. Any random shopping center, going to Westfield or wherever, like 5, 6 of us, and we used to make a day of it. Imagine what that would do to your confidence, right? But I'd say to my staff, guys, go and do it. Let's go. I'll create a day of it.
So do you get nervous?
No, I used to. I don't know if it's abnormal, but
freak.
I don't know, but I don't.
There's no fear. There's no, you know, I'd love to do that, but it's just a bit too much. Or
no,
do you pedestalize anyone? Do you look up to people and think?
I do. I look. Elon Musk is one of the guys that I will always look up to. I mean, you've got to understand his level of thinking, right? He's thinking about the human race needing to go on to another planet. His whole thinking about SpaceX is bringing rockets back and forth, is about creating communities and allowing man to go on to other planets because he knows this planet's going to die one day. That's his level of thinking.
I'm thinking about what meal deal to get from Tesco's.
Right? That's his level of thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I look up to people like that. That's who I look at. I mean, Elon Musk is one of my favorite, purely for the level of thinking that the guy has. Yeah. And if you read his book or, you know, if you watch his documentaries, the guy's never had fear. Like, he's always just gone gung-ho, you know, PayPal. Sold it, put all that money into Tesla, SpaceX. Look at him now. Then he's gone after Twitter. It's mine and my control. It's going to run on my terms. He's done it, isn't he? He's always said whatever he's going to do, he's done it.
Yeah, he's definitely a unique character.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I'm like this, because I'll follow him.
I'm fascinated to wonder whether what you've got can be learned, you know, or whether it's just ingrained in you.
I believe it can. I think it's practice, and I think it's stepping out and trying it. I think it's that, and I honestly believe that it is also to do with your surroundings. If you've got somebody who's going to push you and stand by you and not ridicule you every time you think of an idea that, you know, might not be normal to most people. If you've got somebody that's going to go on, then give it a go, right? It's also to do with that, but I think it can. I don't see why anybody can't do what I can do.
It's criminal, really, when you think how many people undersell themselves and underachieve their potential.
There's probably like you speak to so many people on a daily basis, and like I honestly don't see why anybody can't do what we do. There's no reason. There's no explanation, because if I can do it, a guy who couldn't speak a word of English lands off a plane and is fascinated by cars. I've never left my village before. I get to Delhi and there's cars. I'm like, oh my God, whoa, what's going on here? Right, land at the airport at Heathrow, come out and it's like, oh my God, what the hell? Never seen such a clean country.
Yeah.
Right? Wondering the basics of, my cousin's like, you're going to have a bath now here. And there's a bathtub, right? Where's the water going to stay? Where's the water going to stay, right? I saw him have a fill up the bath. I was fascinated with shit like that.
Yeah.
If I can do it, there's no excuse that why anybody can't do it.
Yeah, man. If you could bottle up that mindset and sell that, because everyone you can read the books and you can do the courses and listen to the podcast and all the rest of it around mindset and putting yourself out there, but it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people if you're really introverted and you've got low self-esteem and you don't believe you can do it, and or maybe even if you're with a partner who's holding you back, or if you're in a situation which doesn't serve the ability to move forward. So many people are just
it's people are like you get, like, if I had listened to my parents who said, don't sell the post office, you've got something going, chill, it's all right, would I be sitting here talking to you right now? I don't know.
Well, you probably have 8,000 post offices.
Yeah.
You've been on a different podcast. You would have made it somehow.
Yeah, so no, but I think it is. It is. Look, if I look at everybody, whoever's listening to this podcast, right? If one thing you take away from here is go out there, try it. What's the worst that can happen? You can always go back to what you're doing. That's never going to go away, right?
Yeah,
you've done it all your life.
Mediocrity is always going to be
right.
there.
You've done it all your life, so you always have a fallback plan. But until you don't break away from that fallback plan, you're never going to see how great you can be. You're never going to be able to, right? My goals are always like up there. Even if you get to 10%, set your goals so high that even if you get to 10, 20, 30%, you're bloody doing well, isn't it?
That's a great way to think about it. Yeah, set massive, massive unrealistic goals, and as far as you get, you're going to be doing well.
The main thing is obviously go out there and do it. No point sitting there saying, I'm going to fly a rocket one day and then just sit there.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Just watch Elon do it instead.
Yeah, exactly. So,
man, time's flying, Rash. I mean, there's so much stuff. It's so inspirational. The mindset. It's really amazing to hear, because it makes me believe, and I'm sure people at home, that if you can break through, it's all up here.
Yeah,
it's all up here. And if you can break through those barriers and say, I don't care what people think. I'm not going to care if when I stand on the stage I'm freaking shaking and mumbling my words. Get out there and do it, and try and grow and learn, and just do it.
Yeah, it is. It's my saying is like, it's JDI. Just do it.
Just do it.
I say to my staff all the time. I say to people that we work with all the time, just JDI, bro.
JDI.
What's JDI? Just do it.
Just
right. JDI, bro. Just do it. Right.
Love it.
And it is. Look, there's so many things like systemization and automation and processes. Very, very important. You'll never be able to scale up if you can't do that. If you don't do that part, right? Our SA business, it only allows us to plug in a property anywhere on the globe because of that system we have. And how we've made it. You could come and sit in my office with us for an hour and you'll be able to use it. Our clients, they just need to use the basic part of it. Our staff, various people need to know various. As long as you can communicate and follow basic instruction, the system works. And it is. It's anybody that's looking to, obviously, they're at a point where you've got to 20 properties now. How do I systemize this? 2 ways. 1, you're going to create a system. 2, leverage a system. Right? If there's issues in your business right now, you've got to literally, it's systemization. If you can follow a system, create a system, or just leverage a system. Right? So these bigger operators, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 properties, they're leveraging our system. They don't have to go out there, train a VA or multiple VAs. They don't have to create the work instructions for those VAs. They're not time limited, 24 hours a day, right? It's because our system allows us to do it. We've done that hard work.
You've
leverage.
done the hard work.
Right? Leverage.
Yeah.
Or call me, I'll give you the system. Bloody create it. And I guarantee 99% of people won't do it.
Mate, it's very, very impressive. Let me ask you one thing as we kind of wrap up here, and I kind of feel a bit stupid even asking you this, but I ask all of my guests the same questions, so I'm going to ask you the same question as well. When it comes to mental health, right? Big advocate for that. You know, I want to. Can't stress enough that the social media and all of this stuff, I think it's causing people a lot of anxiety, a lot of problems.
Yep.
Comparing themselves with people, you know, pedestalizing people, and most of it's bullshit, right? We know that. But it is causing a lot of anxiety and depression, and, you know, I should be doing more. I'm not this, I'm not that. And people can watch this podcast, and all the people that I have on here that are successful, that are growing and building businesses and everything, and making it look easy at the same time. And they might think that you've got it all sewn up and it's all so easy, and you spring out of bed every day and running into work. Do you know, are you happy in yourself every single day with what you do and how you are and how you feel? Or do you still have your down days in private when you're by yourself? Or
look,
yeah, it's a unique case with you, right? Because you're high energy, you're super happy. I'm sure you are. But do you have any days where it's like
there are,
you have the wobbles?
There are, but
how do you deal with it?
It's about just, again, understanding what that issue is and why it's coming along. And I meditate, I read our religious scriptures quite a bit. And when I do feel down, when I do feel I'm creeping into that. I try not to, I catch it before I get to that very, it's really bothering me. I will change my persona, my energy, go and do something that's going to flip it before you start getting sucked into it so deep that you're sitting there thinking about it hours and hours and hours. There's people that will go on for days and days and days. I will try my best. Yes, it's going to creep up, but you have to do something to change it. And that, it literally, it's like that. You can switch it off. And yeah, look, crazy things like, if I get sometimes like this, I will stand and start jumping around. It just raises my high energy, it raises my heart rate, blah, 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 bam.
To break that routine. And
right,
that
you just got to do something to throw you out of there. Throw your mind and don't let it get to, you know, the deep thoughts, because your mind will play games. There's a voice in your head all the time. You might think this and then this voice says something else. You have to learn to control that voice. And our religion, look, I wasn't religious up until 2 years ago. I drank, I had all the bad habits, right? For 2 years I haven't drank. In fact, actually, I don't know, it's about, I don't know how many ever days since I last drank. No other bad habits. And I think if you constantly feed your brain positivity, there's more chance of you not falling into that. Or when you do, you'll catch yourself. I always do. If I do start stressing, it might be for minutes. And then I'll catch myself. And then I'll do something. Or I'll find a video on my phone that'll make me laugh. Or, you know, it literally is. It's a second thing to switch it away from that. Or you could let it go. And I honestly believe it all comes down to what you think and what you feel. It's how you react and how you act upon when someone's saying. It's what people think.
So controlling.
It's all controlling that, isn't it? It's controlling your mind over that.
Yeah.
'Cause ultimately, you could look at me in a way. I could really think he's looking at me in a weird way, or I could think he's looking at me. I can't control it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good advice. Yeah, it's however you frame it.
Yeah, it is. It's how you think about anything yourself. And it's all about, hey, like my biggest thing, I say to my kids, I say to everybody I speak to, master this and just realize that out here, there's nothing you can control. It's out of your control. In here is the only thing you can control.
Awesome.
Right? There's no other control.
Good stuff, mate. Really, really good stuff. Man, you know, it's really inspiring. I'd love to carry on talking, but yeah, we're already getting into it. Guys, we're going to put all of Rash's information in the show notes, right? We're going to get all that information from you. If you want to hook up with Rash and talk about SA management or how to scale your business or how to take over the world and build a frigging monster, then, you know, and all different kinds of businesses, then he's the man that you want to be talking to. Rash, thanks so much for coming on. Awesome. It's been an awesome story. Feel really blessed to have you on and hear all about it.
Appreciate it,
And
pal.
thanks for joining us on the Airbnb Nomads podcast. And until next week, have a great time and we'll see you then. And Rash, thanks again.
Cheers,
really,
pal.
really cool.
Appreciate
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.